I'm Dr. Steve George with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, which of course is part of the Texas A&M University system. Our video today is on correcting common problems in home landscape design. And our focus will be on design problems that typically occur in the front yard. Now, it's a bitterly cold day in North Texas. I hope that you and your family are safe and warm. I've been teaching landscape design schools for homeowners for many years. It's one of my favorite topics. The design principles I'm going to share with you are very easy to understand. And once you learn them, you apply them in concert with your excellent judgment and good taste. Please post your questions in the chat box, and we'll have one of our A&M Extension horticulturists who are online. They will help you. All right, let's briefly go over the reasons why we landscape. Of course, it's the easiest way to increase your living area, and it certainly increases property value. It's your opportunity to add beauty and individuality and serenity to your home environment. It will make it will make your house look larger. If you're thinking about putting your home on the market, it should help your home to sell faster and for more money. And in home landscaping, we want the home to be the star. The home is the star, and the landscape just tastefully understates and enhances the home. One of the major reasons we love landscaping, it's our best opportunity to soften the harshness of all the straight lines and abrupt angles that are common in home construction. And the best way to do that is to use an oval or an S-curve, which is called a line of beauty. Use one of those to define the outer edge of the landscape beds. Now, when you're dealing with a poorly designed or overgrown or neglected landscape, and that's the case for lots of folks, the first order of business is to bring order out of chaos, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, today I want to illustrate for you a quick and easy procedure for doing conceptual drawings. You do the conceptual drawings first, and you just do those on a sheet of graph paper or notebook paper. There's no need to draw it to scale at this point. You can do it anywhere, like on a kitchen table, but this is the easiest and best way to visualize different landscape design approaches. Now, once you get these done, then you draw it to scale. But these conceptual drawings, I would encourage you to get the entire family involved. Once they know the basic principles, everyone, children included, can contribute, and it's lots of fun. So again, first you do the conceptual drawings. That's what we're going to talk about today. By conceptual drawings, I mean your game plan on how you're going to approach different situations. Then you make an overall landscape plan, and you do that to scale. And lastly, you allocate money for the development of usually a different area each year, at least for most families. All right, let's talk about common problems, and we're going to start with one that is going to illustrate many of the principles, and we'll cover those principles in more detail as we go. In this first drawing, we're going to illustrate how by removing overgrown shrubs, an existing sidewalk, and adding an entry terrace made of concrete pavers, planting a ground cover with small leaves, dwarf shrubs at the corners, small tree for enfraintment, and using a monochromatic color scheme for the annuals will make this home look, in my opinion, 50 to 60% larger. All right, what are we facing here? This is these are common problems. One-story home. The front door is actually hidden from view. Here's the driveway. The owners park here. Here's a wall that's about 6 feet high, brick wall. They walk behind there to the front door. This is a bed, and there are shrubs of 2 or 3 different kinds just placed in there at random. That at random is a problem. Here we have 4 shrubs, and of course these problems, many times the current owner just inherited these problems. problems. These problems were from the builder's decision or prior owners. But every one of these shrubs is a different kind, which is a problem. That shrub is probably 8 feet tall. It's way too big. These are too large, and they're encroaching on the driveway here. You have as straight as a laser beam sidewalk coming to the front door, even though you can have trouble seeing the front door. Here's another sidewalk, driveway. We only have about 10 feet to the property line. This is the property line on this side. Your neighbors, their drive is right there, just a few feet off of your property, and that is a legal concern here. This is a huge live oak. I imagine that was planted by the builder, as it is many times. It's a tree that is much, much too large for a one-story home and for this yard. It casts a very dense shade, which means they can't grow turf under it. So you just have bare soil here, looks terrible. All right, turf here, here, here. Okay, how do we correct these problems? And to correct them, for most of us, because we're limited on our funds and on time, it's going to take 3 or 4 years to correct these problems. But the owner is going to have a home of which they can be very proud. The first thing I would do is get this live oak out of here. It's going to get it's already way too big, and every day that goes by it gets even bigger and gets to be more of a problem. Okay? And it's encroaching on your neighbor's property, so they're not happy about that. All right, once you get all that shade out of there, then you can come in and start to have some nice turf when you reach that stage. I would have a professional arborist come in and remove that tree. That is a big job, and you need to have them grind out the stump as well. This is a very small home and a very small front yard, so we need to do everything we can to make it look bigger. Getting that big overgrown tree out of there is going to be a big help. This sidewalk is a problem because it visually cuts your house and the yard in half. So instead of one small yard, we have 2 teeny yards. You own this land. You own this sidewalk. Now the city owns that one. You can't do anything about that one, but you can certainly do something about your sidewalk. And I would have it removed. Getting this tree out may be all the time and money you have for the first year. Getting that sidewalk out may be, and these big overgrown shrubs may be all the time and money you have for the second year. Now, I would have professionals come in and take out these shrubs. Taking out these monster shrubs, that is a difficult job. That's about like taking out a small tree, really. So get those shrubs out, get that sidewalk out, and your house and tree gone. Your house is already starting to look much larger. There's a great deal of traffic out here, so no one in their right mind parks along this curb. So when they have guests over, the guests are going to have to park here. So what would be such a tremendous help to this home is to come in here I need to bring that down a little bit more. And I would construct and I still didn't get that far up. Let's go. Boom, like that. All right. What we're constructing here is an entry terrace. And like most good things in life, it's not going to be cheap, but man, is it going to really increase the value of this home and the value of the owner's enjoyment of it. This can be done with brick, or I'm a big fan of concrete pavers. You can get them in lots of different colors. I would leave a bed right here. I would leave this bed and I would put the concrete pavers up here as well, or brick, whichever you choose. So now you've created a beautiful entry terrace, and by having the same hardscaping material here and here, that's going to help to tie all of that together. It will also give a place where your guests are, when they're parked here, gives them a place to step out onto a beautiful terrace rather than in the yard. All right, an oval is going to be your best friend. It takes out all those harsh angles. And here you just play around with it. When you're trying to draw a line on a landscape plan, you do it in short little arcs like that. Even when you're trying to draw a straight line, that's the way it's done. Like that. Okay. Of course, now once you get the concept down, then when you draw it to scale, you can refine these lines for the bed, of course, and make it look a lot prettier. But we're just working out a game plan here. And I would go ahead and of course that's going to be connected. That's the city sidewalk. But I would go ahead and extend this line down here like that. Boom, 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 boom to the street. This front door is hidden, so we want to lead the viewer's eye to the front door, and the way we're going to do that is with annual flowers. And anytime you're dealing with annuals, I would not have more than 2 different colors in your annuals. And when you want to make an area look much larger, I would just go with one color. It's called a monochromatic color scheme. Mono meaning one, chromatic meaning color. So, for instance, you may love a light blue. So I would have beds of annuals. That would be a sweeping bed. Then I would have another bed of annuals there, and a bed of annuals right there. So annuals, annuals, annuals. They would be the same light blue color. We want to grab the viewer's eye here and lead it to the front door. Boom, boom, boom. All right, now you have to change out annuals at least twice a year, usually in Texas. But you're holding your work and your expense down because these beds are not that large. In terms of shrubs in a front yard, in the entire front yard, you don't want to use more than 2 or 3 different kinds of shrubs. And once you choose to use a shrub, you should have at least 3 of them, called 3 of a kind for line of design. And if you can use the same shrub in more than one location in the same viewing area, that really helps to tie the whole landscape together. I would go with very small or very short plants here. And for us, now I'm going to give you plant suggestions that would be appropriate for North Central Texas. If you live anywhere other than North Central Texas, you need to call your local county extension agent and ask their advice on what plants do well. But here I would go with super blue liriope. At maturity, it's only about that tall, and so I would, that same super blue liriope that we use there, I would use up here as well, and here. I'm not taking time to draw nice, neat circles. So we'd be using the same plant material here, here, and here. And again, they only get that tall, so that's going to make this whole area look much larger. To lengthen this house, to lengthen any home, one of the best ways to do it is to add wings to it. Now those wings can be panels of attractive wooden fencing, or they can be brick walls that are about this high. They're called wing walls. They're just to make the house look bigger. So we do not need to walk around here. We're going to walk around on that side. So you can come in here you can get panels of ready-made panels of attractive wooden fencing. We're not fencing anything out. We're just that will make the house look wider. And we're going to, that same attractive fencing that we have there, we're going to have a segment of it here. And again, it's not to fence anything out, but this will help. Having the same attractive wooden fencing there and there will help very much to tie that area together. This is a very small home, so I would go with a small tree for enfraintment, something like an Oklahoma redbud there. Once you've established this nice, beautiful sweep in the landscape beds, you move in 2 or 3 feet and you recreate that sweep in your shrubs. So if that's a grouping of dwarf Yaupon holly, we're going to want to use dwarf Yaupon holly again somewhere else, and here would be a great place to do that. So this would be a pathway to the backyard. The pathway material I'd recommend is just wood chips. So we use dwarf Yaupon holly there. We need another dwarf shrub here, so let's go with dwarf Yaupon holly as well. Dwarf Yaupon there and there. That's going to tie that area together. Since we have the neighbor's drive right here, we certainly don't want to do anything to block their view when they're backing out. So I would just go with a ground cover that has a small leaf like Asiatic jasmine there, and over here as well. That will be attractive year-round, and we don't have to worry about it blocking anyone's view when they're backing out. I would put a beautiful planting of Texas Gold Columbine here. It is a premier perennial to use in dappled shade for us. Beautiful plant. Okay, we used early spring bloom here in our redbud. We don't have room. We don't have room for an actual tree here because we only have about 10 feet of width. So I would go and choose a crepe myrtle shrub that at maturity gets to about 8 feet, and then you can prune that to a tree form. We would have them like that. Okay, so we're going to have pavers here. All right, I would. Pavers are brick there as well. So that's going to tie that area together. Now this, in terms of the sequence, I would get the tree out. I would get the sidewalk taken out and those overgrown shrubs And then you always want to do your, as soon as you can, do your construction. I would have the entry terrace, the pavers are brick, brought in here. Now again, to draw the viewer's eye to the front door, I would put a beautiful, you can buy a large, beautiful brass or glass, brass and glass porch lights. I would put one there. And then on this wall, here's this wall, I would put two smaller lights that are actually flat against the wall. So we'd have a beautiful, rather small light there, and then a really big porch light there. Okay, hope that's helpful to you. All right, another problem you're going to have to face is, or a lot of people, too many different colors or kinds of plants. That makes your landscape look busy, and anytime it looks busy, it looks small, and your landscape looks chaotic. And so we've done that here, because one color of annuals and only 2 different kinds of shrubs. So we've done a good job about not having that chaotic look. Accent plants are those that are usually well, they're very striking in either their color or their form, and they're to draw the viewer's eye. In the front yard, we only want to do that 2 places, and that's flanking the front entryway. So if we had room, we would have a taller one here and a shorter grouping here. For a minor accent, you many times you use annuals, which we have. But what you certainly don't want is to have an accent plant there, accent plant there, accent plant there. That's just visually chopping your house. So you certainly want to avoid that. What if we had a tree right there? Okay, it's too far from the home to help shade the home. It's only trees that are near the home that actually shade it. So this tree is not helping the home, and it's hurting it because it's visually cutting the yard and the house in half. So what is the answer for that? What did I do with it? Here it is. What is the answer for that? You have it taken out. And I've heard people say, oh, you don't ever take out a healthy tree. Absolutely you do if it's a detriment to your landscape. Even in West Texas, we take out trees if they're in the wrong spot. What about having a nice flower bed right there, boom, like a bullseye? That's called a floating bed. Again, it's cutting the yard in half, making it look much smaller. Your house looks smaller. So that is a no-no. You don't want beds out here floating. You want beds along the periphery, and you want the shrubs arranged where they will reinforce the beautiful line of the edge of the bed. You saw how that having that sidewalk visually cut the yard in half. Well, I've seen sidewalks even worse. Here's the sidewalk, and they have a row of shrubs right on both sides. Many times these are shrubs that they have to come in and shear, which is unnecessary maintenance as far as I'm concerned. That gives a very formal look. Most American homeowners don't want that very formal look. So this is a problem, and now we're doubling down and making the problem even worse. So I would certainly not recommend that. What if you have trees just all over here? Trees everywhere. And I've seen front yard just like that. It's so shady, it's almost impossible to grow any flowering plants. You don't ever have that heart-stopping beauty that we want you to have. So I would do what Mother Nature does. She will have a wooded area of forest, and she doesn't attempt to grow grasses or flowers under that. But then she will have areas where they're full sun, where she can grow beautiful grass, beautiful flowers. So these trees out here are not helping you at all. They're actually hurting you. So I would just leave the trees that are actually shading the home. The rest of these, unless you want that woodland look, then I would have them taken out. And all right, now here's a problem I call spread too thin. All of us have a budget. We only have so much time and money. And I've seen folks, bless their hearts, they haven't had this opportunity to hear these design principles. They will try and do the entire landscape with very limited time and limited funds. What would serve them much better is to get an overall plan, then decide which area is the most important to you and your family. Many times it's the front yard. Well, you get the front yard done and get it done really well before you ever move to the backyard or any other aspect. So you have an overall game plan, but you only implement that as you have the time and the money and energy to do so. Foundation-only plantings is where there's only a row of shrubs that faithfully mirrors the walls of the home. That lacks visual interest. That does not give that soothing, attractive look that we're after. All right, that's in a hurry. We could discuss this and I would love to discuss it for another hour. Let me give you a heads up. These are going to be lots of fun. On Friday, March the 5th, Brad Voss, our Extension Horticulture Agent in Collin County, is going to do a video titled Understanding Your Soil and What It Needs. And you're going to find this very helpful, and it lays a scientific foundation for the videos to follow on earth-kind soil management. On Wednesday, March the 10th, I'll be doing one entitled Expanded Shale, which is a great improvement for sticky clay soils. Boy, if you have to battle sticky, heavy clays, you'll be very excited to hear what expanded shale can do for you. Then on Friday, March the 12th, we'll be doing a video on building an earth-kind soil, tell you exactly how we do that, and we are even going to, weather permitting, we're going to give you a demonstration of actually how that is done. So hopefully our discussion on how you handle common problems, design problems in the front yard has been very helpful to you, and I look forward to being with you in videos to come. Thanks.